First week of May, and in fact, the whole month is known as Mental Health Awareness Month. And next on the show, our next guest says she's no stranger to mental health awareness. She struggled herself with anxiety, depression, and trauma. Kaylee Mandel lives in a Hutterite colony in rural Portage la Prairie. She runs an Instagram account called Tearing Down Expectations. Now there, she advocates for mental health. She shares parts of her own journey as well. So with the account, she's been able to reach others in her community and beyond. And she's with us this morning. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Tell me what inspired you to start your Instagram account, Kaylee.
I did it for myself. I had this dream of telling my story because it is only mine to tell at the end of the day. I wanted to write it, to author it, and then eventually people started following me, and I got incredible responses of people, especially like young people who were talking about how much they were struggling, and moms in the Hutterite communities, and that full-blown inspired me, and it made me want to raise awareness because not everyone is aware of mental health and what it means, and it made me feel like I can make a difference. If I can make just one person feel less alone, that is something incredible.
You mentioned a lot of young people were responding. You yourself are 19. Can you share a little bit about your own story? I mentioned that you struggled with anxiety and depression and trauma.
Well, in my early teens, I experienced heavy cyberbullying, and that very much impacted how I engaged with social media. And I guess that also led then when I came back to social media, I wanted to do something positive on it because it can be so tough and so negative constantly. But I don't know, in late teens, like I was a very happy kid and very confident. In late teens, my family has bipolar disorder, and so that sensitive gene is genetic. And so when you are exposed to different environments that are challenging, you're more likely to develop a mental health disorder. And so anxiety and depression kind of became as a result of trauma, as a result of, basic life experiences. And the past 5 years I've been battling with that, and it has been incredibly difficult. But I have also been surrounded by an incredible community, an incredible family and friends that have been supportive beyond measure.
How incredible that you talked about the roots of some of your challenges with anxiety was being exposed to cyberbullying, and then on from there having some different challenges as well, but that you would go back to online to sort of support this positive message and to be a support to others and to raise the awareness. How important is it to have awareness of mental health specifically within Hutterite communities like yours?
Well, first of all, I believe that we can only raise each other up and better our culture and us when we acknowledge the harms and dangers of what we have. I think the Hutterite colony or culture is set up to support people who struggle with mental health. We have a social, and religious structure that is incredibly supportive and reassuring. It's a support system we can all avail to. It's from care to multi-generational contact every day. I think it is set up to be supportive. But because of that lack of awareness, when we talk about it, there's almost always a shame stigma attached, and then it's kind of not talked about. And when you don't talk about something, or when you do, it's sort of in a negative light, people, and young people especially, what they're going to take away from comments and from conversations is, this is bad, this is a weakness, I need to hide it. And my account has been to try to show there is so much strength in vulnerability. And mental health, there are resources. It can be helped. God gave us incredible tools and incredible minds to help other people. He gave us people in our lives who want to listen. And I think that part is important for Hutterites now to kind of, as we move away from this stigma, because we are 100% moving away. There is so much progress that I see every day, and it's incredible. But I think that seeing that strength and vulnerability, that's what's going to shift next, and then it will make mental health even more an open topic.
How much progress are we making? I did stories on some of the first mental health resources to be set up in some parts of southeastern Manitoba when I was a reporter there, and that was like 25 years ago. But part of sort of the stigma there would come around people talking about it as, if you're talking about your mental health, you're complaining, or that you should, pray it away, so to speak,
Yeah.
and such. Are some of those stigmas still pervasive today? Are you still fighting some of those, or are people still fighting some of those stigmas?
I think for sure, and that is simply as a lack of awareness. Like, they aren't aware of what it means to struggle with mental health. Mental health is not a demon. It is something that can be helped. And I think for me, what I've learned is I have to understand that everybody is on their journey. Not everyone is where I'm at, and I've been where they are at in terms of understanding and having, having an understanding when it comes to mental health. In my family, there are a lot of mental health struggles, so I have been exposed to it more than maybe some people, and then that will affect my awareness and understanding. And I think that, like, I know I need to give people grace who aren't there yet, who don't understand why it's important to talk about mental health and why it's important to talk about what you struggle, because we all struggle with the same stuff. So I think the resources that are out there, I think that we just need to talk about it. We just need to bring it into the light.
You want to go on to do this work. I understand you want to go to university to become a therapist. Tell me, we can hear how strongly you believe in all of this, but tell me a little bit about more what you're hoping to do, because I understand it might even involve specializing in communicating this to communities that otherwise might have, might come from a traditional belief background system.
I think that everybody struggles with mental health, and for example, what I've seen is there was a school who a child died in an accident, and throughout that day, mental health counselors came to that colony, and the colony afterwards spoke of the incredible support they received, how grateful they were about that support, and that makes me think, now imagine if I could do that. Without the language barrier, without the cultural barriers, therapists are trained to approach any situation. I'm sure the people in the colony were in good hands. But for a little kid, I think it would be incredible if I could show up and if I could help and if I could make a difference and just sit with these people of my culture and I'm of their culture and listen to them. I think that would be something that I would love to do. I want to work with schools and with nonprofits, people who can't afford therapy, and just do speeches, talk about it, just talk about mental health. My late grandmother, she kind of always said, never stop asking, never stop talking about it. No matter if, this person doesn't listen, go to the next person. Don't ever stop. Because once you stop, your brain starts to tell you stuff that isn't true, and it is incredibly hard to figure out what's true and what's not then. And so I want more awareness. I want to talk about it, and I don't know at this point what that would look like if I did become a professional therapist and how it would I would integrate it into the Hutterite society. It's never been done. I don't know, but it is absolutely my dream, and I think I would be good at it because I have lived experience.
I'm pretty sure you'd be good at it too. You're such an inspiration, really wise beyond your years, Kaylee. Thank you very much for being on CBC with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
An important conversation with Kaylee Mandel, who lives in a Hutterite colony in rural Portage la Prairie. Her Instagram account, where she talks all about mental health, is called Tearing Down Expectations. You can find it at Tearing Down Expectations on Insta.